All right, let's dive right in. Today we're going deep on one of Napoleon Hill's most game-changing ideas. The idea that our financial success, our entire life really, is being run by a hidden program in our minds. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can actually seize the controls and rewrite that program for yourself.
Just think about that for a second. What if it's not the economy? What if it's not your boss or your background? What if the single biggest thing holding you back is a piece of invisible software running in the background of your mind that you probably don't even know is there?
You see, this was Hill's big insight nearly a century ago. He argued that most of our behavior is just automated by this subconscious program, and the wild part is, modern neuroscience is basically confirming what he figured out. We now know about things like the reticular activating system. It's like a filter in your brain that literally controls what you notice in the world based on what it thinks is important. And what it thinks is important comes directly from your deep-seated beliefs.
So let's unpack this a little. What did Hill actually mean by the subconscious mind? Let's break it down.
Hill used this incredible metaphor. He said, to imagine your subconscious is like a giant filing cabinet. And in that cabinet is every single thought, every emotion, every experience you've ever had. But here's the crucial part. This filing cabinet has no security guard. It has no filter. It doesn't judge if an idea is true or helpful or complete nonsense. It just takes the file, stores it, and uses it to guide your actions, no questions asked.
And this, right here, is where the glitch in the system appears for almost all of us. It's this massive conflict between what we consciously say we want and what our subconscious has been programmed to believe is actually possible for us.
It creates this constant internal tug-of-war. So consciously, you're sitting there saying, I want to be wealthy, I want financial freedom. But if that subconscious filing cabinet is stuffed with files from your childhood that say things like, money is hard to come by, or rich people are greedy, you're literally fighting yourself every step of the way.
And let me tell you, just using willpower to win this fight is like trying to stop a freight train with your bare hands. It's just not going to work. That subconscious program is running the show about 95% of the time. This is exactly why people can want to succeed so badly, but find themselves sabotaging their own best efforts. You can't just wish for a different result. You have to install new software.
So, how do we do that? How do we actually get in there and rewrite the code? Well, Hill gave us a very specific tool for the job. He called it autosuggestion.
Let's go back to that filing cabinet. Autosuggestion is simply the process of you walking up to the cabinet deliberately and handing it new files day after day. And because we know it doesn't filter, we know it will accept these new instructions as long as they're delivered with enough repetition and, this is key, emotional power.
But, and this is a big but, there's a right way and a very, very wrong way to do this. Your subconscious speaks a specific language, and if you don't speak its language, it's just not going to listen.
This is the one thing most people get completely wrong. Just standing in the mirror, flatly repeating, I am wealthy over and over again, that does absolutely nothing. Your subconscious doesn't care about empty words. What it responds to is a super specific, detailed statement about exactly what you're trying to do, delivered with real, genuine, passionate feeling.
Hill was so emphatic about this. He basically said that emotion is the secret ingredient. It's the energy, the electricity that carries the thought past your conscious mind's defenses and burns it deep into your subconscious, where it can actually start overriding those old junky files.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why. Now let's get to the how. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the specific, daily protocol that Hill laid out to turn this from a cool idea into a consistent practice.
It's a pretty simple 4-step process. First, you've got to write it down. Get ridiculously clear and specific about your goal. Second, read it out loud twice a day, right when you wake up and right before you go to sleep. Third, and this is the magic step, inject emotion. Don't just read the words, feel the excitement, the gratitude, the relief of already having it. And finally, number 4, visualize. Actually see the outcome in your mind's eye. Make it real.
Now, the whole point of this daily ritual isn't just wishful thinking. It is a training exercise. You're training your brain. The goal is to build what Hill called faith. And he didn't mean it in a religious sense. He meant it as a mental state of absolute, rock-solid conviction that your goal isn't just possible, it's inevitable.
So really, the big takeaway is this. For most of our lives, our subconscious has just been programmed by accident, by what we heard as a kid, by our environment, by other people's opinions. Hill's message is a powerful call to action. Stop being a passive passenger. It's time to take the wheel and become the deliberate programmer of your own mind.
And that leaves us with one final powerful question to think about. You now have the tool. You have the instruction manual. So what new, powerful, and deliberate instructions are you going to choose to give your mind starting tonight?